Hey, welcome back, ghouls and goblins. I hope you're having a magical day. Thank you so much for taking the time to support the channel. What would make Magic the Gathering Arena the best game of 2023? Well, I've got some ideas. I always say that a barking dog, just gonna get locked outside. But that cute puppy-eyed dog might even get a little bit of a snack at dinner time. So instead of complaining, which I find so easy to do sometimes as Magic is such a difficult game, it can bring you to the razor's edge with one top deck. Of course, I want to take the path less traveled here today and just try to apply some constructive feedback to the game. Like I said, very much a wish list for the upcoming year. If you have any ideas yourself, don't hesitate. Leave them down below in the comments, right? And what would make the game absolutely amazing to you as an individual. So for me, it comes down to a couple different sections that we'll break down. We're going to talk about everything a little bit. And of course, what's holding us back from achieving these things today and how will we accomplish them in the future, maybe. And of course, full disclosure, I don't know what I'm talking about. I have no knowledge of the industry. I play Magic, a cards game for children for a living. So, take that into account with today's video. But I do have some ideas I'd like to share. First and foremost, new formats. We want two-headed giant. For those of you unfamiliar, this is a 2v2, you and a friend versus another individual, an opponent, and one of their friends, right? Making decks that can synergize with one another, sharing a health total, all this, all that, and just, a fantastic format that we haven't seen in a little bit. We also want 4-player brawl, please. I know that we can't go straight to just, 4-player commander because the card pool's a little bit different, obviously. However, Brawl is already a legal format in Arena. Let's just add a couple players to that as well. Now, I know this will entail a rebuild of the client, but we're going to talk about what that means later on in the video. First, we want single-player challenges and puzzles. This, a long time ago, was one of my favorite parts of the game. What was it, like Duels of the Planeswalkers 2012 or something? Like, so long ago. Some of these single-player challenges and puzzles are, just a ton of fun. And it's a good way to spend your time in the game while not being forced into playing Sparky, which, let's be honest, is terrible, but also, we can still avoid that ladder, which is terrible on the exact opposite spectrum, right? So it's like ultra competitive or like just like can barely play its own hand. It would be cool to have a skill-based single player campaign that we can progress through that increases in difficulty, right? Of course, there is the color challenge within the new player experience. We need a little bit more than that, right? It's a good start, but we can improve, right? Um, Moving on, custom limited groups. How cool would it be if you're like, okay, well, me and the boys want to do a draft, and instead of buying a box of cards and all having to change our travel and go meet each other like somewhere, and like, that's a lot of work. Online, it's Friday night. Let's all pay X dollars. I know this is going to cost a lot of money, but to gain some of these new improvements, maybe we're gonna have to provide some support. And many of us would be willing to pay a premium if we could have private draft or sealed experiences within that limited format. Just use five other players, maybe six of you, with a custom table. You are passing packs to one another, and then you play games against one another. You can circumvent this by doing a draft pod and then building those decks in Arena and just playing limited matches against each other in a tournament structure. However, if it was all built into Arena, you just all logged in, joined a group together, paid a collective fee, boom, you're going. That would be so cool, right? Aside from that, that's all the different game modes that I'd like to see incorporated into the game in the upcoming years. But of course, there are more. Don't hold back. Share those comments with me down below. What do you guys think? Moving on to maybe some new features. An in-game leaderboard. Holy Toledos, this would be fantastic. Maybe showing the top 250, maybe even the top 1,250 players within constructed and in limited. This would be fantastic. You could maybe even click on their profile, watch their last match, like a replay, Also, spectator mode. Maybe you can see when they're in a live duel. Ooh-wee. Now we're getting somewhere. And of course, being able to export their deck lists right in client. That would be absolutely fantastic. That is, like I said, the live replay, spectator mode, copy deck list. That would just be a fantastic function that could be very easily incorporated within an in-game leaderboard as well, like just as a new feature, right? Um, this would not necessarily be a feature, but it would be a act of goodwill, I would suppose. Being based in the realm of adding new features, trading, gifting. Wow, would that be cool? I could do in-game giveaways using the client right to my fans. That would be very, very cool. Individuals themselves, friends, play groups could be trading cards and doing giveaways and all things like this, right? Just gifting someone a card. What a cool experience. This again, client rebuild. I don't even want to say the word, but non-fungible tokens. If we could actually own our cards, that would be just incredible. Of course, Wizards would get, I would assume, a commission on each transaction for using their marketplace or whatever. So a great way for them to expand their revenue base, or just straight up be like, hey, everyone, we've seen you investing a lot of money. We just wanted to let you know that your purchases with us as a company through Arena, through Magic Online, will be grandfathered into our next client, right? So all the cards that you have in your collection currently, we're going to give you in the next client that we'll have to rebuild to incorporate some of these changes, right? That would be just like, oh, the chef's kiss. How much more would people be willing to spend on the game if they knew they would have that asset forever, right? So just ideas that I'd like to share, of course. Moving on now to quality of life improvements. And now these are all kind of that, but some of them definitely more so because these features will already exist in game, but I think we could do a little bit better. The deck building. We have a sideboard. What about a maybe board? Just as we're looking through our collection, because the collections get pretty big at a certain point, it's hard to really remember all of these cards. So as you're looking through cards, flipping through pages, not utilizing the space in your sideboard, but actually having an additional spot to place cards as a maybe board. I think that would be very, very cool. We could have in-game spoilers. So we have third-party websites that get the spoilers, they repost them. This is fantastic. They make $1 billion on ad revenue because we all go to their websites. We could, make this as an in-game option. Of course, those websites could continue to operate and exist. However, for individuals like myself who are building decks, right, theory crafting ahead of time before the release hits, while those spoilers are coming out, boom, in the deck builder, they're non-legal in any of the formats, so you can't actually play them, but you could put them in your decks, get your lists ready, all in client. Woof, right? That would be very cool. We could, this is a no-brainer, but one of the most frustrating things I've come across within the client is deleting decks, because as a creator, I'm making multiple decks every single day, like sometimes 10 decks a day. So to go 100 out of 100 decks achieved, oh, fantastic. We used to have 75. They gave us another 25. Cool beans, but it doesn't buy me much time, and now I gotta hit that delete button for like hours, it feels like. It's brutal. So a delete multiple, right? Just select like all of them and then delete them. That would be fantastic. Thank you very much. Moving on, we could have custom filters and tags for favorite cards. There's like the card types in game. We could have like a favorite section where you could put a heart on a card or put a star on a card. It adds it to that collection, and then because our collections are growing, they're so vast. You can have favorite cards, and it's just a cool experience to customize for the individual, right? We could also have like the custom tags and filters. You could tag a card as something, and then when you search it into the bar, boom, it pops up. So you could be searching your custom tags. So instead of destroy, exile, damage, minus whatever, you could tag all of these different spells with removal. Boom, hit the search bar, type in removal, all your custom tagged cards with removal come up just like that, Doogie Dog. So I think that would be fantastic addition / tweak to the current system as well. We could have, and dare I say, additional digital codes in paper products, if you wouldn't mind. What would be fantastic is a wildcard code. Every pack, you have a chance for a rare and a mythic, right? Uh, they could have within the final card a chance for a rare or mythic wild card, maybe even a bundle of 3 uncommons or something, right? Uh, Easy. They're not forced to give away specific cards that will become outdated and irrelevant in the future. They're always going to be viable within the game. Very cool. Of course, I mean, single cards are on the table as well. Just spitballing here. Moving on, we have creator codes. So in a lot of other games in the shop, there'll be a creator code. It's like an affiliate reference, right? So it's going to get the purchaser a percentage off, maybe 10% off your gem purchase, right, in the store. And then the creator who had the code that you used gets a kickback of that, right? Whether it be the full 10 or 5% from the company. This is just a great way to support creators. We're not getting paid anything by the company, and many of us are dedicating large portions of time, basically advertising their product free of charge, right? So this would just be a great way to reward people, both on both ends of the spectrum, right? The consumer, the person purchasing the gems gets a little bit of a discount, and then all of the creators get that little bit of a kickback as well, right? And it just supports a really healthy community for everyone involved. Moving on, I know these things cost money, and it reminds me a little bit of Charlie's mom. Money, me, money needing a lot now. We could have card box cosmetics. It's the simplest of things. If you want to be able to pay for all of these things, I understand the development costs and all of this of the new client will be substantial. Cosmetics, card boxes. I've not seen card box cosmetics at all. That would be boom, so easy. We could have a expandable deck inventory. I know you gave us 25 for free. That was super kind, but you could charge us for that. 50 additional slots for $50? I don't know. I bet a few people would buy that. And payable name changes. Change your in-game name for a fee that increases every time you do it. Hey yo! So now we're making Wizards some money. They should be a little bit happier with us. We're researching what does a game like this cost to make, and it's actually really hard to pin down. Uh, I don't know what you want to classify Arena as. Many of us joke and we say, well, it's an indie game, right? Indie game company. Under $1 million for an indie game, straight up. Well, I know a company that makes more than that. LOL. That double A game, I guess, if you will. Like, I think they might even call it a double I game. $1 to $10 million, and then the triple A game, which it is definitely not. It's not Grand Theft Auto. You know what I mean? Like 10 to half a billion. You know what I mean? Grand Theft Auto, literally the best game that we've ever had created so far. $250 million. So, it's definitely under 10 million. It could be between 1 and 10. I almost doubt that it's less than 1 million, even though it feels pretty indie. I think, these things are fairly expensive to develop and implement, and 2 to 4 years to create a game like this as well. Again, I know nothing other than what Google tells me when I search stuff up. So this could be a little bit wrong. But I do think it's probably, as far as an estimate goes, which is as close as someone like myself can get, 2 to 4 years, $1 to $10 million, a task, without doubt. However, if we look at the revenue for Wizards and Hasbro since the release of Arena, it has increased substantially, right? And this is what we can tell. How much of this is driven from Arena in contrast to changing of their paper products and the development of all that is really blurry. But what we can tell is that since Arena has come out, things have gone a lot better revenue wise for the company. We cannot again attribute all of that to Arena, but it definitely is a contributing factor without a doubt. So again, I think if we could incorporate even some of these things, the player base would be over the moon. They'd be very happy. They'd be in love for another 3 years. Wizards has done a great job with the clients so far. Their ability to adapt, to listen to the community, to change, and to improve has been, outstanding. And I do think that it is up to us as a community to kind of communicate what we'd like to see in the future to keep us engaged, because them as a company, you would like nothing more to keep us engaged with their product, and we'd like nothing more to enjoy their product, right? So it can be a very beneficial relationship. Cheers. Again, don't hold back. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Of course, we have some new content as well. The farming guide for 2023 is out. We had some economy changes, so we had to update everything. Definitely check that out as well. Have a magical day, and we'll see you soon in the next.